guys, Joy here. So I'm a mom and I'm also a holistic nutritionist, so I consider myself a healthy mama. But this is my life and my job, and I get it. It is really tricky as a parent going to the grocery store and knowing what's healthy and what's not healthy. So in this video, I'm going to share with you ingredients to watch out for that you don't want, and ingredients to watch out for that you do want in snacks and foods for your kids and for yourself too. So this video is sponsored by Love Child, but I have been using their products and giving their products to my daughter since before this video was ever created. Actually, since Vienna started eating food, I discovered Love Child, and so I'm gonna chat about some of their snacks, but let's get to it first. So funny story, when I actually went grocery shopping for all this stuff here, I was really embarrassed. I said to the cashier, I'm like, I'm not buying this for myself. He's like, ha ha ha, sure. And then he's like, you have no idea how much sugar and junk that people buy. I'm like, I think I know, because when I go to the grocery store, this is what you see. So the common denominator in all of these processed foods is, I'm sure you can guess, sugar. Sugar is not what you want to be giving kids. It's not what you want to be eating. I'm talking about refined sugar here. It really does cause a blood sugar imbalance, causes your blood sugar to be fluctuating up and down, which makes kids moody and tired. Sugar is addictive. Look at this yogurt, for example. Like, this yogurt has 24 grams of sugar, guys. Fruit on the bottom yogurt, 24 grams of sugar. That's like 6 teaspoons of sugar. And most kids would eat this amount. This is just like a small cup of yogurt. So sugar is the number one. And when you go to the grocery store and you see like all of the cereal boxes, they're always at your child's height. Like when I'm at the grocery store, they're about like mid-thigh on the second shelf so kids can see them. So try and avoid that aisle. I know it's really hard when your kid's like, but I want the Lucky Charms. So maybe just avoid that aisle altogether because it's usually super processed. But the other issue I have is children's cereals are just full of sugar. Like the second ingredient in this particular box cereal is sugar. And then the other thing is they have to add all of these synthetic vitamins and minerals because the grain is so stripped of its nutrition that by law they have to put these nutrients back in. Because if all you ate was this cereal without these vitamins and minerals, you would like suffer from malnutrition. The other thing is that most sugar in non-organic foods is going to be derived from the GMO sugar beet. So genetically modified. And so I definitely, as a mom, when I am shopping, I look for non-GMO. That's really important to me. So I look for ingredients that are not genetically modified. Now, if you're buying a packaged whole food that is organic, by law, there cannot be any genetically modified ingredients. The other thing you can look for is the non-GMO Project Verified sign as well. That's a little seal that you see. That's another way of knowing. But if it's organic, no GMO. If it has a sign, non-GMO, otherwise it's actually hard to know. But a lot of processed foods are sources of GMOs. So the final point I want to make about sugar is that if your child is hyperactive, has trouble paying attention in school, then definitely get the sugar out of their diet. I know it's hard, guys, but you can do this. I'm going to link all sorts of awesome recipes. I have a whole like little array of my joyous treats here. I've got my quinoa chocolate chip cupcakes. I have my breakfast cookies, my sexy maca balls. So there's so many delicious treats you can make for your kids that have so many other ingredients and natural sweeteners that they're not going to be, like bouncing off the walls and cranky. So my next ingredient that you want to avoid is preservatives. That's the next ingredient you want to avoid. If a food needs to be preserved, then do you really want to be eating it? So if we look at these bits and bites, for example, they have like how many ingredients? That's just English too. There must be 50 ingredients. Things like MSG is in there. So yeah, ammonium. Yeah. So here's the thing with preservatives. I am not going to run off my mouth here and list every single preservative. I'm actually going to link it here to a blog post where you can go and look at all the preservatives you want to avoid. But that's like really overwhelming. So when you go grocery shopping, Don't buy foods, packaged foods that have ingredients you don't recognize or you can't pronounce. It's really simple. That will help you avoid many chemicals. These types of chemicals just shouldn't be in food. So preservatives are a big one. BHA and BHT is actually banned in children's cereals in Canada, but throughout the world, this is a chemical that's still added, yet there are chemicals in preservatives that are known to be carcinogenic, which is just mind-blowing that it's in our food. So my next ingredients I want you to avoid are when you see different colors added or flavors added. Artificial flavoring. I even really limit natural flavors because look at all this beautiful food here. Like there's so much flavor in whole foods that it doesn't need flavors to be added. The other problem is that when you see a label that says color or you see a label that says flavor, that can mean hundreds of ingredients. If your child suffers from allergic conditions like eczema or hyperactivity and you're giving them processed foods, they could actually be reacting to something in that color or flavor. The other problem is that coloring is derived from petroleum. So it's kind of disgusting when you think about it. So coloring and flavorings, a lot of synthetic chemicals, not chemicals that you want to be feeding your child. Another one to watch out for, which you're gonna find in all of these foods, if your child is sensitive, has food sensitivities or allergies, dairy, gluten, and soy are the most common food sensitivities and allergies in children, and they're the most common ingredients in foods. So if your child does have food sensitivities, then you have to watch out for those things. Now I'm going to share with you 4 things to look for when you're shopping for your child, and let's face it, this helps us as adults too. So the number 1 thing is fiber. So that's why I love making my treats. I buy things like fruits and vegetables, prunes. My daughter absolutely loves these Odie Chomps. This is by Love Child. These are really good chia. They have chia in them, really good granola bars. But fiber keeps your kids feeling fuller longer. So you know when your kids come home from school, this totally happens to my daughter when she gets home from daycare, she gets hangry. And if I'm just like feeding her Pop-Tarts, which I don't do, she's not gonna be satisfied because there's no fiber. So if I give her something like carrots and hummus, do you like my hummus in my little like ice cream cup here? My daughter loves carrots and hummus. She also loves Love Ducks. Love Ducks are an organic corn snack, so certified organic. They're like, instead of eating chips, you know, a funny story, my dad, this is a kid food, but my dad actually loves these Love Ducks. Whenever he comes over, he eats all our Love Ducks. But my daughter, Vienna, loves dipping these into the hummus. So she's getting fiber, protein, and fat. Fat, of course, from the hummus, which is great. So fiber keeps you fuller longer. Another ingredient to look out for is protein. You definitely want with all your snacks and all your meals with your kids for them to be having protein. Protein is a building block of every single cell in your entire body, and protein keeps you fuller longer. There's lots of animal-based types of protein. There's lots of plant-based types of protein. It doesn't matter where you're getting it from. Just make sure it's a whole food source, which is why I absolutely love, my daughter loves these Odie Chomps. They have chia seeds, which are a great source of protein and fat. They have gluten-free oats. And the other nice thing is, you know how I was talking about avoiding color and added flavor? They add color and flavor from things like carrot powder, organic blueberries, organic grapes, so whole foods, which leads me to my next point. Something you want to look for when you're shopping are just whole foods. Like, what is your food actually made of? Is it made up of chemicals and then all the ingredients, all of the nutrition is added synthetically? Or is it made up of whole foods, like all my stuff here? Like if you flip around, like the Allies, for example, are made with organic whole spelt flour. So you've got B vitamins that are occurring naturally. Makes a big difference. So obviously in my home, it's super important to have fresh produce. That's a priority. So things like avocados on hand, carrots and celery and cucumber and apples, but it's not always convenient, which is why when I'm on the go, I definitely like things like these little purees. My daughter absolutely loves these, the Love Child, because they're just pure. Like, what you see is what you get: pears, kale, and peas. And the final thing I want to mention is that if your child wants something sweet, then look for foods that are naturally sweetened or they're sweet on their own. Like I love prunes. Have you guys tried my prune whip? It's delicious. So look for ingredients like honey or maple syrup. So it's actually not too hard if you do a little bit of sleuthing to look for better quality foods for you and your family, especially when it comes to packaged foods. So, maybe a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning when you go to the grocery store, but then once you know some really great healthy snacks that your kids you can go back to them, right? So once you know, and then you don't have to resort to this kind of stuff. And don't forget, guys, you can totally make recipes yourself. You can make healthy homemade snacks for your kids, for your family that taste delicious, and you're putting so many great ingredients and you're putting love and good intention. So I hope you guys found this video informative. Give me a thumbs up, ask me your questions or comments. Be sure to check out my blog post where I talk about all the preservatives to avoid, and I'll share with you recipes. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.